Hi, so welcome to this quick tutorial for Business Catalyst, and this is absolute and relative O's. Alright, so here we have our website. I'll just refresh it, hang on. Let's re-upload this. Okay. Right, so here we have our website, and in particular we're going to be looking at the blog. So as we're coding our templates, right, you'll even see the default templates that come with Business Catalyst don't actually work across the board. And this is because they're using what's called a relative URL. So right now, technically, we're working on a template, by the way, and technically that lives in the templates folder on FTP. So any file that's in here, if that wants to reference a CSS file or some images or something like that, then you have to tell it to look by going up a directory, then going into the particular folder that it might. And so we do that by using ... as you can see here. So ... CSS or ... images, just as I've got here, right? And so that works for the best part. And actually that's what is live right now. That's what's live here on this website. And so that's all fantastic and that's great, and it works pretty much most of the places. It even works when I go to /blog. Even though we've entered a new directory, it's actually the same as if it was in templates, right? It's still just going ... So it's still going up a directory, which would be to the root, and then it's going into CSS or images. But what happens when I try and go into further subdirectories? So now it's broken. And if we actually look at the, technically this is a directory that it's now working in, even though it's just a canonical URL, this is just a URL that's been rewritten. Basically, this folder doesn't exist on the server, this folder structure, so it's just an URL rewrite which exists, for things like search engines and whatnot. And so technically, however, the template though is now still trying to load from blog, calendar, 2014 and 8. So technically, it's trying to go up one folder, as we know, the ... it's trying to go up one folder, so it's looking for the CSS file and the images folder actually within the 2014 folder, right? So we need to fix this and rectify this. So all I'm going to do is, within my template, now I'm actually going to cheat, and if anyone can tell me of a working tag for Business Catalyst, I would have expected to see something like this, and I'll come back to this in a second, that I could just replace and use. And anywhere that I use that tag, it should replace it with my full domain name, or the URL of the website that I'm working on. Okay, but I can't get that to work on the system. These tags only seem to work within modules. There's even one which is capitalized for secure URLs. So if anyone can tell me that, then they'll have a Bitcoin bounty going for them, and I'll send them a donation. So right now what we're going to do is we're using relative URLs, okay, and we're going to change them to be absolute URLs. An absolute URL means it's absolute, funny enough, and it is then irrelevant where we are on the domain name, or where we're working, if we're in a subfolder, or whether the file's trying to be accessed from somewhere else. It's actually irrelevant. It's always going to work. So what I'm actually going to do is, now I'm within Dreamweaver, and you can use whatever editor you want. All I have to do in Dreamweaver is highlight the text, press Control F, which is going to open the find and replace dialog. Now, I'm now going to find every single instance where I've got my relative URL, my ... and I'm going to replace that with my actual domain name. Okay, don't forget my / on the end there. Now, if I do a replace all, bang, 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 it's now replaced all of those ... with my full URL. So now these are absolute. So you can see, right? It's no longer trying to go up a folder or up a directory, hierarchically speaking. All it's trying to do now is it's always going to access the absolute URL that we see there. It doesn't matter where I am, it's always going to now access this. So let's give that a quick save. Let's drop that back down into my templates folder, overwrite it. Now, I always like to give Business Catalyst a few minutes, because you never know with it. It can sometimes take a few minutes to update. So now the home page is loading fine. Let's go check out the blog. Let's do a Control F5 again. Everything's fine. Now here's the moment of truth. This was the one that was broken before, and it's now loading. Okay, so we're good to go at this point, and that's fantastic. So we can still see that Business Catalyst likes to load its own files that it's inserted as well. And I'm guessing they're relative, but they seem to always work. It's within the BC system. Maybe someone can explain that a little bit better to me in the comments system. I'm sure BC gurus know. But we can see now it's irrelevant what's going on, because we've sidestepped, we've mitigated this issue by using absolute URLs. So I won't babble on any further. If someone can tell me, but if you take a look here, site URLs exists in the quick reference tag library for Business Catalyst, but I'm thinking maybe there's another reference site for more system related tags possibly. But here we go. This is secure zones. This doesn't work. I've tried all of these, by the way. URL encoded, URL to your public site, URL of the site, URL encoded. These are for campaigns within the module. Customer service ticketing. You see, I've tried this. This is site URL that's reused a lot. This doesn't work. And system emails, and now we're back to secure sites again. And so, yes, that's the way I do it to make sure it always works categorically. I've never then got any doubts. But, you know, if you're coding with WordPress template, you know, you're using, you know, PHP calls for the URLs. So you're replacing the URL with something like, you know, brackets, site URL, close brackets, whatever it is, right? And so that's commonly used on WordPress because it's template driven, and maybe that template's used on lots of different domain names, right? You install that WordPress on lots of different websites, then you copy over your template, and it needs to change. The URL needs to be changing unless you're using relative, but you're taking a long shot. What if the person's website, they change the structure of a folder or something similar to this? Or what if the folder structure is very deep in hierarchy? What if there's multiple folders going on? Quite often the template will break. So that's it. So that's relative and absolute. Hopefully that helps in building templates for Business Catalyst.